Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Echoes of Sunday podcast. I'm your host, Cody Bershing, and I'm joined once again by my co-host, Logan. How you doing
guys.
today?
I'm good. I'm tired, but we're good.
Yeah, that's the standard
I'm
for
excited.
the podcast.
I'm
normally.
very excited, actually.
And we have the privilege of being joined by our awesome English professor, one of our awesome English professors on campus, Professor Susan Decker. How are you doing today, Professor?
I am doing well. I'm also tired, so it's, we can bond over that. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the post-Thanksgiving break tiredness.
There
But
you go.
no, happy to be here.
Oh, we are so grateful that you're here. This is something that we've looked forward to, our first professor interview that we've done. So it's kind of a momentous occasion for the Echoes of Sunday
really is.
podcast.
High stakes. Okay.
Yeah. So if it goes horribly, then I guess we'll know. But
It's not going
Touche.
to.
yeah,
There's no way.
I will own that.
if it goes badly, it will be our fault, not yours. So
Oh,
don't
boy.
worry about it.
No, this should be fun. I'm excited.
How's your year been going, Professor? Has it been good, your second year on campus?
It's been going well. Yeah, I have a few new classes that I'm teaching this semester and kind of prepping for some other new ones coming up. But no, it's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it. Year 2, it feels like it's flying by just insanely fast. So I hear that's kind of normal.
I think that you always hear growing up about how much faster time goes by, like the older you get, and
So true.
it's so true. It's so true.
I love how
so
we're all
old.
yeah,
So old.
we're all speaking like we're like we've lived so long. But yeah, no, it is. It's so true. Like you remember back, oh yeah, the '90s were great. And you're like, wow, that was so long ago. And you guys don't even remember the '90s.
were great.
No.
But trust me, they were great.
Yeah, even like the semesters just go by so much faster. Like it's crazy to me that we're almost done with my first semester of my junior year.
Junior
Like,
year, dude.
that's crazy. Like we're well over halfway into my schooling here now.
Well, and these 2 weeks
nuts.
here after after Thanksgiving break and going into
Yeah, it's just
Christmas
like-
break, yeah, like we were just off school and now we're here for a really high pressure time and then we're gone again.
And we're
Like,
done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
it is. I guess with that being said, the first question we always ask people is, what's your faith story? What's your relationship with God kind of been like, and what kind of led you to MLC to where you're at now?
What led me to MLC as a student or a professor or
All
all
of
of
it,
the above?
everything.
Option
We're
E,
here
all
for
of the
everything.
above.
We are perfectly fine with this taking as long as you
Cool.
feel like it. This is our favorite question to ask.
I want a seat in the Professor Decker movie
Oh boy.
just to watch.
See, now I'm envisioning, like, you've seen the SpongeBob episodes where the card comes up that says 3 hours later. I'm envisioning that. And then my second day at MLC. So
I'm so excited.
be careful what you wish for.
That's awesome.
No, so faith life is actually really interesting because I started at a public high school and I loved that. Like, I have nothing against Christian education, obviously. I want that on the record. But I would not trade my public high school experience for anything. Loved it. And one thing I thought was really neat was that I got to see what it means to live out your faith just in the quiet, everyday moments. Like, as I was kind of thinking about it, I remembered one thing my high school did every year was something called a day of silence. And what that was that you weren't forced, but you were strongly encouraged to wear black and have a vow of silence for the whole day in order to support the LGBTQIA plus community. And
wow.
if you didn't, like, there was no fault in it. Like, it was fine. Professors or teachers were fine with that. But it started a conversation like, oh, why aren't you wearing black? Why aren't you supporting this community? What are your thoughts on gay rights? And so that was just a really, like, a bold conversation starter just simply by not wearing black that day.
For a high schooler, too.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was your emo high schooler, so black was, no. I didn't usually wear black anyway, but no, so I obviously did not participate in the Day of Silence, and that led to some really just interesting conversations. But even just in those everyday moments with other Christians that I would find, they obviously weren't WELS or ELS, but being able to find that common ground with people was really awesome. And just getting to say, hey, what do you believe? This is what I believe. And finding that common ground and being literally in the world but not of it, like, that was a really neat experience. I loved that.
So was your like experience with that mostly positive, would you say? Or was there people that judged you pretty harshly for not doing that?
I would say it was mostly positive. Honestly, like I wasn't bullied for my faith in my high school because there was enough people that were kind of in my support group, if you will, where there was a lot of people that just knew, hey, she's not going to behave that way, and I'm not going to either. We can do this together. And it was a great support system. Keep in mind, this was also Eau Claire, Wisconsin, so it wasn't like a big bustling metropolis. It wasn't a huge city where there might have been more like pushback on it.
Yeah.
But no, it was a mostly positive experience for sure. So I enjoyed it.
You think your faith was pretty strong in high school?
It was strong in high school. I think what turned it around, not turned it around, but what emphasized it tremendously or made it even stronger was when I got here as a freshman. My BHL teacher was Tutor Stern at that point. Now I think he's just regular Pastor Stern. That's weird to say. But when he was here, he was Tutor Jesse Stern. And he really encouraged us, like, just to think of God as a personal person in our lives. And his first step was like, let's just take out our Bibles and let's highlight in it. And for me, it was like writing in a book.
Yeah, marking it up.
Like, I'm
the
not gonna
Bible, no less.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would I do that? But the minute that we did that, it was just awesome because I got to go back to those same passages and highlight them and say, wow, like, that's what that meant, and now I can think back to that on my own. And he was really the guy that just turned my faith into something I believed, to something that, like, it was so much more personal, the way that he talked about it. And same thing with, like, the Compline services that we had here. Those were my favorite parts just of building my faith when I was a student here, the Monday evening Compline services. In fact, when I graduated and went to West, my first ministry, I live streamed, or I tuned into the live stream of the Complines every Monday night because I just missed them so much, as much as I could, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And did your parents were both Christian, I assume?
Correct.
Okay. And they set a good example for you to kind of go into that public high school space? They did. They encouraged me, and they knew what the public high school world was like. But they knew that, you know, God's got this. And was that an intentional decision to go to public high school? Or was it like, it's the only option and this is what we're going to do? I mean, kind of both. Our public high school had a lot of great AP courses and a lot of great things that would set me up kind of for academic success. But logistically, there was no Wells High School in our area. I think the closest one was Luther in Onalaska. That would have been a long commute, if I would have chosen to go back and forth. Wouldn't have been able to really be involved in anything. So, yeah, it was deliberate, but also deliberate because there weren't any options in that area.
Yeah. I'm the only one at this table right now that didn't go to a public high school, so
that's okay.
Yeah, I'm speaking from inexperience here, but I have often wondered, like, what would the advantages have been like to have gone to a public high school? Because, I mean, you're kind of thrown into the fire at a very young age when you're doing that as a 14 to 18-year-old. Like, I just feel like maybe I wouldn't have handled it the best, but it'd just be interesting to have that experience for sure, I think. It's really interesting just to see what normal public high school life is like a little bit. And not that this stuff happened like every day or anything, but it was normal to hear people talking behind you, like, oh, so-and-so, they're pregnant, so I wonder what's going to happen to them. Or like, oh, hey, well, so-and-so over here, remember they have the good drugs by their locker, so like make sure to hit that hallway up. And that was interesting that those types of conversations were just so natural. I mean, the guy in the locker next to me was literally selling drugs. And it was strange to see it just up close and personal, but at the same time getting to know like what makes people tick and like how the gospel could help these people, and how even just being an example. Like, I didn't stop the guy from his drug dealing business. I didn't pause him and be like, hold up, let's talk Old Testament here. But it was just a matter of being a good role model, setting examples, living out your faith. Like I said, kind of in those everyday moments. Did you notice that the environment around you impacted you negatively at all? Or that you like made compromises maybe that you weren't thinking about in the moment?
Not so much in that regard. I do remember my AP U.S. history teacher did a Jesus impersonation one day, and I don't even remember what.
How do you impersonate Jesus?
I don't even remember what the educational context was, to be honest. But he had very long, like brownish gray hair, and so he walked into class with his hair out of his normal ponytail, and he was wearing some like white robe.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "Today I'm going to teach the class as if I'm Jesus." I'm like, why? Like that made zero sense.
What is the point?
It made zero sense, and it was really offensive. And like everybody in the class, I shouldn't say everybody, the majority of people in the class were like, "This is so cool! Oh, that's so funny!" And there's me and like the 2 or 3 other Christian people were just like, hold it together, and it was awful. So there were a couple things like that really struck you as like, okay, yeah, these are not everybody is going to share your values here.
And you didn't get to like say anything about that. You kind of just had to take it.
Exactly. And at that point, it was a choose your battles situation. Like, am I going to say, excuse me, this is offensive, or am I just going to, you know what, for whatever reason he's acting this way, let's just move on and then go to the next class where we're not impersonating Jesus. Yeah. I still don't know why that came up.
That's tough as a high schooler, I think, to actively choose not to engage, because I feel like there's just so much passion when you're young to just go out into the world and prove that you're right.
Yeah.
But wow, good for you to just be like, you know what, this is not it. We're going to move on to the next one.
Well, it was so just different, too, in, like, the English classes when we'd be discussing literature and things would come up and people would say, oh, well, this was so cool when this happened, or, you know, in this scene. And then I'm reading it thinking, I have a different perspective. And it was a bold choice to say, you know what, I actually disagree with, you know, the left half of the room. That was not a cool scene when these people had an affair. It was wrong, and this is why I think that. It's walking a fine line between like shoving your faith in people's faces and like living it authentically. So
yeah, I think there's like such a big like negative connotation around Christians and Christian faith, and as a person, like as a high schooler in that public school setting, I feel like if you pushed it too much, then all you're gonna be doing is just like confirming those stereotypes that people have. So that's such a difficult situation to be in. I mean, I'm 21 years old, and I don't think that I could handle that situation well, much less I was a 14 to 18-year-old, however old. So
sure. No, you're right. A lot of that just, it does kind of reinforce those stereotypes a little bit. A lot of the Christians there, they belonged to, it was some athletic club, I think like Athletes for Christ or Christian Athletes, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. There we go. I knew it. And I wasn't an athlete, so I wasn't part of that club. But most of my friends were, and their approach was kind of that stereotypical, like we're going to pray in the entryway before class starts so that people can see us praying. And like that obviously wasn't my jam either. So a lot of their behavior did reinforce those stereotypes, unfortunately. But, you know, I found my small niche of friends.
Yeah, what did your friendships look like in high school?
I kind of bounced a lot. Like, I wasn't part of the completely popular group. I had friends that were popular. I had friends that were athletes, friends that were musicians, the artists. Like, it was all different friend groups. So, yeah.
Okay.
That was, but the majority of them, I would say, were Christians. Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah. The majority of them were Christians, or at least called themselves such. Or we could have, like, a positive conversation about Christianity. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I know the age that a lot of young Christians like start to like at the very least question their faith is often like that first experience in a public high school.
Yeah.
Some are earlier for sure, but did you feel like there was ever a moment during your high school, public school education where you started like questioning things that you didn't previously question because of that experience, or not so much?
Not so much, no. I saw it happening a lot with some of my friends that were kind of shaky in their faith, or kind of like on the fence, like, well, I don't know if this is true, or I don't know. And it was kind of a matter of just being that support for them and seeing like, oh no, you're faltering. Like, let's get back on track and let's go back into the Word and the Scripture. But I could see where it would be easy to like just let all those influences overwhelm you, for sure.
Yeah.
And so was high school the time where you kind of explored your passion or your love for English? Or was it, did it even start before that?
I had always had a love for English, like Always. Oh my goodness.
Big reader.
Always, 100%.
I think you struck a nerve. Like, you hit close to home with that question.
No, like, I just remember some of my favorite childhood memories were going to the library with my giant stack of books and, like, trying so
awesome.
hard to bring them to the checkout table, and then they'd all fall down because I had so many, and just, oh, yeah.
What was your favorite genre of book?
Ooh.
At that time?
At that time? I loved like the little chapter, because I started reading chapter books pretty early on. I loved the chapter books about about like kids going on these grand adventures, or like the boy meets girl types of ones. I thought those were the best, and those were so much fun. Like the Sweet Valley Junior High books, those are always my favorite. I love those.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
You guys missed out. They were about two twins named Jessica and Elizabeth, and then they had like these little school friends, and they went on all these adventures, like running away or no. Wow. Okay.
I'm sure my older siblings are probably like so like sad right now listening to this podcast.
What about the American Girl books? Did you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
I have heard of those.
Okay. I wasn't going to ask if you'd read them. You know, just true confessions time. But the American Girl books I loved. Those were so much fun.
And so that passion for reading and English just followed you right into high school.
It did.
And did you find that the public school courses kind of like met your appetite or your needs or what you wanted from an education about English, I guess?
Yeah. I mean, I had AP Lit, AP Literature, and then AP Language. Both of those courses were just like amazing, immersive experiences into that world. And then as a senior, actually, part of an independent study that I did, I went back and taught the AP Lang class that I had taken as a junior. The teacher knew that I was planning on becoming a teacher. What? So she set up this independent study. I'm not kidding. It was amazing. I got to sit in the back of her class and observe, and then I wrote lesson plans for the following semester. And then I taught the students who were a year younger than me, doing assessment and materials, and it was a blast. My very first lesson was on, oh goodness, the difference between using an M dash, an N dash, and a semicolon. And I thought it was the most fun thing. And everybody was like, oh, this is so boring. Why do we have to learn about that? Like, guys, you don't even get it. Wait till you hear.
So fun. But so you had your first teaching experience before you even came to MLC.
Correct.
Wow.
Correct. It was a blast. I loved working with that teacher, and I loved getting to teach and see, like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This has confirmed my suspicions that I'd had for years and decades. So
is that like kind of like a niche thing, or like something that is only specific to that school? I feel like I've never heard that before. I don't think
it's not. Independent study was fairly common. It's in the public system. It's fairly common, more so at the university level. Not so much in high school. I actually did 2 of them that semester. One of them was investigating the Kennedy assassination and all the different, I know,
wow.
kind of out of left field.
What conclusion did you come to?
I had looked at, like, what's his face? Johnson. There we go. I looked at, like, what involvement Johnson had, what involvement the mafia had, Cuba, our own government, and now I'm going to sound like a conspiracy theorist. But no, I think the conclusion I'd come to was that there was a lot of our own FBI that was heavily involved just in setting up his own assassination, a little bit of Johnson. But yeah, there was so many fascinating leads with that one as well. And I'm not tremendously a history person, like, kind of, but not tremendously.
So Kennedy was murdered by the U.S. government.
Wait, I won't go as far as to say he was completely murdered.
Let's not put words in her mouth.
Yeah, again. Kennedy, I feel like there was some involvement by our government, perhaps. But that was a really fun independent study.
That sounds so cool.
That sounds sketchy. Yeah, it was a blast.
On the conspiracy episode of the Echoes of Sunday podcast.
It was so much fun. I don't honestly know which one I enjoyed more, that one or the teaching English one. I mean, they both were fascinating.
Do you feel like you could give like a presentation like next week about the Kennedy assassination?
On Echoes from Sunday, we're talking the Kennedy assassination. I still have somewhere, I think, like my giant foam board that I made because I rigged it up with a little engine that had the motorcade, the Kennedy motorcade. I had a little engine that I'd rigged up that showed Kennedy, and like if he had turned this way, where would the cross triangulation have been? And yeah.
Wow.
That was the most engineering
That's
I've ever
hardcore.
done, and it was worth it.
I feel like if you had a presentation night about that, MLC students would come.
To my thoughts on the Kennedy assassination.
Yes.
That's very specific.
Especially if you pull out that foam board from, your high school days.
From my high school days, whatever state it's in. No, that was my senior year of high school. I loved that year. No math. And sorry, math people out there, but no math and like double English and this Kennedy assassination independent study. That was the best senior year ever.
That sounds like the best senior year ever. I mean, wow. I want to take some of those courses.
I'm jealous of my past high school self. I want to keep doing that.
So that was kind of your high school experience.
Yeah.
What was that kind of like leading into MLC then that next year and going on after?
Yeah, it was a big culture shock coming to MLC as a student because as a high schooler, my graduating class was like 850 kind of, we were on the small side.
Yeah.
And that was like, when we lined up for graduation, I met the person in front of me and behind me in line for the first time on that day. It was like, hey, cool, we're graduating. Oh, you went here? That's fun. Like, And that was, and I actually loved that. And then I came here, and there was 850 people at the time total on campus.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, where is everybody? Like, is it senior skip day I just wasn't aware of? Or no, that was the size of the campus. So that was a huge culture shock. But I got to learn to love the small campus feel a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was like the inverse. I went to this really tiny Wells High School in Tacoma, Washington, with not even 100 kids. And then I come here and there's 650, 700 kids. And I'm like,
wow.
Oh my goodness, like who brought all the other schools? Like this is crazy.
Wait, so your entire school was 100 people, or your graduating class was 100 people?
My entire school.
Wow.
So I'm pretty sure when I graduated it was like 94, I want to say.
Wow.
Or at least in that ballpark. So yeah, I mean,
reverse kind of culture shock.
It's just
then.
It's just kind of fun talking with people on like the opposite end of the spectrum with that. Mm-hmm. Because that's like that's foreign to me.
Yeah, like
crazy.
where is everybody? This place feels so empty.
I was actually, I kid you not, like the thing I was most terrified with about coming to MLC, it wasn't the classes, it wasn't all the languages, it wasn't meeting new people. It was actually getting lost on my first day of classes, going to like the different
Really?
like classrooms. I was like scared. I was actually I was like studying like where all the classrooms were on like the mat that they have of the school like the night before, and I was like quizzing myself in my bed. It was just crazy.
Did you get lost?
No, I didn't actually.
Yay.
Praise God, the studying paid off. My first unofficial test at college.
Can I make it to my first hour class? But I get it. If it's different than what you were used to, that is a valid fear.
Yeah.
And did you know anybody coming in MLC?
No.
Not a single person?
Not a single person. And I actually loved that because so many people came from the same schools, and so they felt this need to kind of be that person they were back in high school, or even the other way. Like, oh, I was this kind of person, but like I don't want to be that way anymore, but my roommates still went there, so they know who I was before. And it was so complicated, and I didn't need to worry about that here.
Didn't have that.
No.
Just be yourself.
Just be me. No.
That's awesome. And then your faith. I think it's really cool that your faith could grow so much when you came to MLC and that.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know. I think that's what it's for. Like that's what MLC is here for. Is for you to connect with your professors and your tutors, like you said. And that's just sorry. That's just so
but
cool.
even your peers too. Like I remember one of my first nights in the dorm, all the girls on our floor got together to play Apples to Apples in like a massive Apples to Apples tournament, which was really fun. It was in the basement of Centennial, which was unfinished at the time, so it was really cool. And like halfway through the game, I'm not entirely sure why, but people started talking about music or this or that, and they're like, "Oh, have you heard this cool song? It's called In Christ Alone." And my first instinct was like, "Shh, like." You probably shouldn't talk about that song here. I thought, wait a minute, you absolutely can't talk about that song here. And one of my friends in the circle played the Newsboys version of In Christ Alone. It was it was my first time hearing that song. I'm like, this is so cool. Like, not only do I get to openly worship in chapel, which was awesome, but like my friends, I can openly talk about it with everybody and not think like, okay, you're the small group I can talk to about literally anybody on this campus. I could say, hey, have you heard In Christ Alone? That's a cool song. Like, it was really cool.
I've grown up with that song.
With the Newsboys version? Or
Just
In Christ Alone?
Just In Christ Alone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Love that song. Yeah.
It was cool. The first time I'd heard it, though, was that Newsboys version. And I just remember that was such a powerful moment of, like, here we are playing apples to apples. And wait, like, we can all talk about our faith together. Or, like, if I'm having a down day and someone says, oh, hey, God's got this or God's got your back here, like, it's okay to talk about God openly? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And that was just so cool.
I think that's one of the most underrated parts of MLC campus culture. It is not only like the Christian community that you have here, but for me, I still, like, my breath gets taken away every now and then in chapel in the morning. Like, when you're just singing a hymn that everybody knows and loves, and you have, like, the organ just blasting.
Yes.
And you're just, like, you're so taken aback, and you're just, like, how can you not get fired up for ministry? How can you not be, like, moved to tears almost with, like, what's going on here?
Or even the opposite. The organ drops out and all you hear is just the voices of all God's people singing together. You're like, wow, okay, it is. It's like a speechless moment, for sure.
I know it's a common phrase, and I don't say it lightly because I feel like if you say it too much, it can definitely get overused. But it is like a little glimpse of heaven when you're in that chapel with 600, 700 plus people just praising God like that. And it's just, wow.
Yeah.
If this is what eternity is going to be like in heaven, like, that sounds pretty sick. Like, I can wait. I can do work here however long until you know, God calls me there. So
no, I love that. That sense of community. You can't beat it. You can't. I could do without the sun, like, glaring into my eyes. I picked the wrong spot in chapel today, and it went right in my eyes as Professor Benkin started speaking.
There's always somebody. Yeah, get somebody.
There's always somebody, and I'm usually good about choosing the right spot, but not today.
Yeah.
And so did your time at MLC make you want to become a teacher more, or stay the same, or did it maybe make it less?
I've always known that I wanted to be a teacher. In fact, I feel kind of bad because so many of my friends were the opposite. Like, oh, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and then their story sounds so cool. But no, I'm the opposite. I'd always known that I wanted to be a teacher. And then I would say even elementary school, I knew MLC was kind of like the ultimate goal.
Wow.
And so even being a student here then too, was like, yep, suspicion confirmed again. Like, this is where I would like to be. So every school I've gone to, it's just confirmed, like, yes, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's something that I can relate to as well. I know for most people it's not the norm, like knowing what you wanted to do your whole life. But for me, as my earliest memories are like me telling my friends that I'm going to be a pastor in like kindergarten, and it's like, I thought that was the norm, like heading into MLC. And when like I would tell people that like freshman year, even now when it comes up, like the looks that people would give me, like, what? That's crazy. Like, I didn't know until this last year. I still don't know if this is what I want to do. It's just, I don't know.
Did you have parents who were called workers?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was always just like a part of like my story and like growing up for sure. And I actually think I told my dad this. He's a pastor for the first time like the last year, I think. The first reason I wanted to be a pastor is because people would always ask my dad questions like in Bible study, like hard questions that like me as like a 5-year-old couldn't understand at all. And my dad would know like the answer to every question, and I was like, oh, I want to be like that.
That's so cool.
So that was actually like the rationale behind it. But
that is so neat. It starts with just one person, you know?
Yeah.
That was my third grade teacher, who was also my kindergarten teacher. But my third grade teacher knew that I had like a really special love of writing. And we only had dedicated writing class like a couple of times a week at that time. And she would give me these extra little like special writing projects that I'd get to do on the side and write a story. Then she'd read them and give feedback. And like it was just nice to have like, wow, that teacher went the extra mile and she really cares about like this hobby that I have. So yeah, it's powerful when one person kind of like starts that ding, that light bulb moment, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like you never know like what that moment can be too.
Yeah.
Like you just providing encouragement for people. Like it might not seem like a big deal to you providing the encouragement, but for the person that's like actually getting that, like that could change their world, you know?
Yeah. So 100%.
Yeah.
So I know from MLC you got obviously called to West, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything more about your MLC experience that like sticks out to you or you think is crucial for the development of teacher
Like as a student, if there's any? I really enjoyed just all of the student teaching opportunities that we had here. And that is something that's very different from like the public school realm, is like there's not as many rounds of student teaching. And I feel like here as a student, I got to experience so many just different contexts and practicing teaching skills and seeing like how children learn up close. So that was definitely something I enjoyed.
Did you feel ready when you went out and got your first call?
Yeah, I did. I know that sounds crazy that after like 5 years you're ready to, but yeah, I did. And I was looking forward, like I'd hoped that it would be a high school call, because in the back of my mind I thought, well, okay, I was K to 12. I thought if I don't get high school, then 3rd and 4th grade, because they have the best books. So one of those two I'd be fine with, but I really, really hoped for a high school call. And then I did. I had the call to West, where I had actually gone for an EFE experience. I think I did my EFE too there.
Okay.
And so I remember leaving that experience thinking like, oh boy, I wish I could be called to West, but that probably won't happen. And then when I got the call, one of my coworkers, my future coworker at West, he's like, I remembered you, and this is so great. We get to work together now. So he'd remembered me after that time, and I got to go back and teach there. And that was a blast. I know, it's like full circle moments. It's crazy.
I bet God was just like laughing in heaven, you know, like when you're saying, oh, I probably won't be back here, and God just like, watch this.
Yes.
Give it a couple of years.
100%. I feel like that was, even when I got the call to MLC, God was probably laughing, because it was October 15th. No. Yes, October 15th that I got the call, and it was like 1:45 p.m., and I was getting ready to go. I remember this because I was getting ready to go to the concert at West, like a fall concert. And I'm like, oh, okay, I have 15 minutes to like get dressed and get ready to go, and I was rushing, and the phone rang, and it said MLC on the caller ID. I'm like, okay, well played, God. Like, we're just gonna now take the rest of my plans for the evening and pivot them if this phone call is like what I'm hoping it is, because why else would MLC be calling my home at like 2 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon? No, that's prime call season.
It is,
so.
The Sunday afternoon slate is almost always when you get it. Like, as a pastor's kid, I vividly remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, you're always on call watch.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this. So you talked a lot about how your faith grew a lot while you were in public high school, and then you talked a lot about how your faith grew a lot at MLC. Mm-hmm. Is there a spot that you'd say you think your faith grew more, or is that like too much of an impossible question?
Like more between those two?
Yeah, between those two.
I mean, probably MLC, just because I was older and able to like apply it to myself more as an independent human, you know. Like, and I feel like, again, just being given that freedom, so to speak, to write in my Bible and make it my own. That really was like, okay, this is my faith, but it's for me. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I'd always had that faith, but now it was even more deeply personal. So MLC was probably where it grew the most, for sure.
Yeah.
And then how long did you teach at West?
I was there for 11 years.
Okay.
So that was your first call, and then you didnn't get another call until you got calls, but you didn't accept another call.
Correct. I had several calls when I was there, so I was also used to that Sunday afternoon time slot. You know, if the phone rings, or like, better not start making dinner yet, because it's opening day of call season, so something might happen there. But yeah, I had gotten several calls when I was at West. I returned them all, and then the one from MLC came. So.
And what was it like teaching high schoolers? Like, what are things people should know about teaching high schoolers?
I loved teaching high schoolers. It was like just the different personalities that the kids come to the table with, like even on different parts of the day too. It was such a great experience getting to see kids at that age level, because they're old enough to know what they're doing and make decisions, but yet there's still growth there. Academically, those were the best kinds of conversations to have in the classroom too, with literature, because you could say, oh, we've all experienced A, B, and C, and they probably have. Whereas if you start to have like a literary conversation with a third grader, you can't say like, oh, how do you feel about unrequited love there, huh? So you can't really get into that with third and fourth graders. High schoolers, they have a little bit more life experience and a little more attitude, and I liked that.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So what has kind of that transition been like for you going from high school teacher to college professor now, 2 years into it?
Honestly, it was not a huge sort of transition because most of the courses I was teaching at West were seniors and AP level classes. So if anything, it was more just getting to know the freedom of the schedule. That was my biggest thing here was there's not like a time when all extracurriculars have to be scheduled during this time or just, it was just having a more flexible, free schedule here. That was probably the biggest thing. But in terms of students, I enjoyed it. In many ways, first years are just like high school seniors. Yes, they've grown a little bit, but they're still very much high school seniors. So it's easy to get into that mindset.
That's interesting to hear a professor say that because, that was exactly what I felt as a freshman in college. I was like, this just feels like a fifth year of high school. Mm-hmm. And as far as like my actual like maturity goes and like how I like looked at life and approached life, that was probably the most accurate assessment possible. Just another year of high school. So, but
there's so much growth that happens during that first year too. I see that in the students now, like behaviors or things that they were doing day one now are just, oh wow, you're not doing that anymore. Okay, like things have kind of changed a little bit. Things have shifted, and it's really neat just to see people grow and mature and see kind of where God is leading them. I love that. That's why I wanted to be at MLC.
I feel like for me, if I was going to be a teacher and I was super, super passionate about whatever topic it was, I might get frustrated sometimes that the students are not as passionate as me. They're like, why aren't you getting this? This is amazing.
I feel like the opposite is true in my case. Like my students think that, it's like that movie Cars. I'm like, I've never seen Cars. If it was made after 2000, I probably didn't. No,
Isn't that like your favorite movie?
It's one of them. Yeah.
That
and Kung Fu Panda.
I haven't seen that one either.
So
and they just told me about that one. I'm trying to make these great literary connections. They're like, oh, that's like in Kung Fu Panda. I'm like, sure. Don't know that acclaimed literary text of Kung Fu Panda. But so I feel like they probably get frustrated there. I can tell them about Titanic and like Gone with the Wind and the JFK movie by Oliver Stone. I can tell them about that.
Is that the 3-hour one?
Yes.
Okay, I'm mean to watch that one.
You should.
Did you watch that while you're doing like your studies?
I've watched it many times.
Many times. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Highly recommend. It's a good one.
Is it like a documentary?
No.
Or is it just like
is
it a movie?
It's presented like a somewhat of a documentary. It's a movie with Kevin Costner and some
cool.
woman and some other guy.
Okay.
But Kevin Costner is the lead, and he does this like amazing closing argument as a lawyer about like the importance of finding the truth. Oh, it's so good. But it's Kevin Costner, so it would be. But I can talk about those movies, and I can talk about Hallmark Channel movies, like till I'm blue in the face. But do they understand them? No, they don't appreciate those. They know Cars and Kung Fu Panda, so I feel like we're not on the same page with that sometimes. But.
So you don't get frustrated. You just
not tremendously.
You just roll with it.
Like on some days, I know if people are tired or if it's like a day after a break, I'm like, guys, today's the day we're doing analysis on this story, and I look out and they're just, but I don't remember these stories. Like, no, come on, like let's dig down deep and find that joy again. But it does not tremendously frustrate me. No, I have enough joy in the literature myself to go around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go for it.
Do you feel like, so you talked about like how you really haven't seen like that big of a difference between high school to college age students. I've often heard that the students teach you more than you teach them. And like I've been a baseball coach before, and like my players taught me more than I ever taught them. And I was just curious, like, what are your thoughts on that? And if you would agree with that, or if you think that that's like a little overblown, or what do you think?
I feel like there's truth to that we're teaching each other things. Like I know it might sound silly, but examples like Kung Fu Panda or Cars, I never would have thought to find like literary value in things like that. Like I'm all about finding literary value in movies. I love movies. But even in like smaller things or more contemporary examples or simple examples, I might not have been willing to do that. But I love when a student can teach me something like that and say, like the Lit Sem course that I teach is focusing on Joseph Campbell's hero's journey structure and like how a hero develops throughout a story. So when they can say, oh, that's like in this movie, this Disney movie, part of me is like, well, yes, but like, what about these other more literary examples? But you know what? No, it's great that they're applying it to something I would not have thought of. So I think there's truth to that.
I think maybe that's something that's cool about specifically English courses potentially, is that there's more room for interpretation, and I think there's more room for discussion in that way in some senses, where I just know in all of my favorite like English courses that I've taken where we're reading books and we're talking about it, like the coolest part of that isn't like what I found interesting from the story. It's always hearing what other people found interesting, and it's like, I don't know, you just hear like different perspectives on that stuff, and I imagine that even for a professor, like you can teach the same book every single year, and every single year students are going to come up with like more takeaways from it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, and how different things from different texts resonate with people. Like one of my favorite texts is Les Mis, the actual novel that Victor Hugo wrote. Love that. That's probably my favorite European novel. And I love how different parts of that resonate with people. Some people love the love story. Some people love the whole like villain versus the hero thing. Different things resonate with people. And so I enjoy hearing different perspectives, not just my own all the time.
Yeah.
You said interpretation. It made me think, so I went to public high school, and there was this one day where in English class where the principal came in and was he sat in the back, he would do that sometimes. I don't know why. He just felt like he should be there sometimes. I don't know. But then we were talking about, I think it was A Tale of Two Cities. And he raised his hand and he was like, so how do we know if we're interpreting these things correctly, or if we're not just reading into it too much
and making things up?
Yeah,
kind
making
of thing.
things up. And my teacher, she was just like, she just looked at him and she's so pissed. And after he left, she was like, sometimes you just want to wring people's necks.
Oh wow!
Wow.
What did she answer? Do you remember?
She was like, I think she said, well, everything is in there for a reason, and you have to go with what the author meant and the flow of their writing and their literary techniques. And
good English teacher answer.
But I was just wondering what your thoughts are on that a little bit, because there are some times where I think, okay, you can dive into this and get really, really deep, but is it really meant to be that deep?
Sure. In some cases, we are fortunate that authors have said, like, come right out and said, this is what this means. Like Lord of the Flies. It's my favorite British novel. Golding was like generous enough to outline basically and say every character represents something. So I love when we have examples like that. But that's not always the case, where an author says, oh, now this is a symbol and this is what it means. But I don't know, I feel like not everything needs to be spelled out by the author. There's a lot of reader's response that gets played into it too. Like, I can read something, and if I take that as a symbol, then great, as long as it's supported by the text. And the best texts are going to be ones that leave those little breadcrumbs throughout the story, so you're not just making stuff up, that there's good, solid support for what you're thinking is a symbol. So that's my thought on that. But I'm so surprised that I'm not surprised that your English teacher was like, stop trying to derail my lesson.
It was funny.
Yeah, I think for me, actually, like, as the reader to a story, I almost, like, dislike it, I think, when the author tells me exactly what each thing is supposed to, like, tell me, or, like, what it represents. Like, I feel like I'm, like, doing the work without getting, like, the reward of, like, being able to, like, come to that conclusion myself or come to my own conclusion. I don't know. I just feel like it's like a cheat sheet or something.
So the ending is spoiled when you already know what everything's supposed to mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just takes some of the satisfaction out of, like, just really, like, wrestling with the text, I think.
It does.
I don't know.
No, that's fair. And my favorite types of stories are ones where there's very little plot. So I know that sounds so bizarre, and nobody is ever on my same page with that, where like 20 pages go by and all you've read is like a description of a snow pile or of a tree. Those are my favorite types of stories where there's like zero plot. And in those cases, you get to interpret so much more because there's nothing happening. So wow. I enjoyed that part of it. Yeah.
Okay, so
that's cool.
Not many people, everyone else is like, that sounds so boring, which, okay, I get it. But Tolkien's writing style, where everything is described within, like, an inch of its life, yes, way to go, Tolkien. Like, yes, tell me about, like,
it's the Decker stamp of approval.
Exactly. Like, tell me how this little tree branch felt in your finger for a page. Or, like, tell me how the breeze felt for 5 pages. Yes, don't give me plot. That's, no.
Is it because that kind of writing just, like, totally immerses you in what the author is trying to build? Or
probably.
Why do you think that is? You like?
I love character studies. All my favorite stories are ones that teach us about humanity and like lessons about human nature. They're very, even like my favorite movies are very psychological, like psychological thrillers or things that go beneath the surface of like what's being stated versus what's actually underneath and driving. Those are my favorite types of stories. And so I feel like that kind of writing style just lends itself so well if you're just focused on characters and not so much on the plot. The one exception, of course, are my Hallmark Christmas movies. I don't care if there's any depth in there whatsoever. In fact, please, no depth at all.
We don't want the depth.
No, just give me the person wearing the flannel shirt who owns the Christmas tree lot. And then the guy. Yep, and then there we go. And then the guy wearing the suit who's ambitious, which means he obviously hates Christmas and life and all things beautiful. And then like the high-powered executive woman who has to choose, and she'll pick the guy in the flannel. But like, I know that, and that's what makes it wonderful. So that is my one exception. Not everything needs to have literary depth.
I love that. That's
just
so
Hallmark
awesome.
movies. That's the one free pass.
Are there
you go.
Okay, so give us some like Professor Decker approved like movies, like some of your favorite movies, or maybe some of your favorite books or books that you're reading right now or something like that.
Okay. Favorite, well, I already told you my favorite European novel, Les Mis.
Yep.
Highly recommend. Favorite British novel, Lord of the Flies. Classic.
I haven't read either of those, and they're on my list. I just haven't read them.
That like twists the knife
I'm so sorry.
into my heart. No, it's fine. But go and read them.
Yes.
Okay, best American novel, Great Gatsby. 100% that one. Have you read?
I have not. No, I'm so sorry.
You named your cat after Gatsby, right?
I did. I did. I named my tabby cat Catsby. After Gatsby because she has green eyes, and the whole symbol. Not having read Gatsby, you won't get this.
Yeah,
but there's a whole beautiful symbolism of a green light, and her eyes are green, and I needed to name her Catsby. So yes, Great Gatsby is my favorite American novel. Outside of novels, I guess we're talking like other stories. I loved the Wicked movies when they came out. Those were great. Cabaret is also weirdly one of my favorite. I'm not surprised if either one of you are not familiar with Cabaret.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it or read it.
The plot is who cares? But the thing I like about that story is like one of the characters is just so damaged, like emotionally, psychologically, physically. And it's supposed to represent just the damage of the times and like how they're wearing on him. He's just such a thought-provoking character. So I love Cabaret just for that character alone. And the fact that he's unnamed. He just goes by the MC. Like he identifies as this entertainer. And that's how he sees himself, as like no real depth. He's just there to entertain, but yet all of his entertainment is so powerful and thought-provoking. So I love movies and books and stories like that. So, yeah, those are some of my favorites. Again, you got the Hallmark Channel in there too. Of course, we can't neglect that during this time of year, especially.
The Hallmark Channel and its entity, like the whole thing. Yeah.
Yes, they're all the same. They're all the same. That's what makes them wonderful. Frasier. I'm a huge fan of the TV show Frasier. Love that one. That's because those are also like character driven. So you're not familiar with Frasier either. Okay. If you name your favorite movie, maybe I will have seen it, unless it's Cars or Kung Fu Panda.
No, have you seen? I like Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, okay.
I like movies like there's this movie called Bullet Train, where it weaves in like all these characters, and you don't see it at first, but it's all one grand story, and you just see it at the end as one big flourish, and it's like. Wow, and you just and the main character is just so funny, and you just love him, and you just want the best for him. But he's just thrown into all these crazy scenarios, and they all actually make sense once you fit them together.
That sounds like those movies. Like I know there's one called Valentine's Day, and where it's all the stars. They each have their little individual stories, and then I think they all come together at the end. Kind of. Maybe not.
I've never seen that one.
Okay, I haven't either.
I think it's a similar idea. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's basic of me, but I love movies that just kind of pull you on for the ride.
And Bullet Train would literally do that. So
Yes.
I like that. I've not seen that one. Sorry.
It's Brad Pitt.
No. Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of Brad Pitt either, but
No.
I liked him in that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
As far as classic movies, like It's a Wonderful Life,
That's a good one.
such a good movie.
It's my favorite Christmas movie for
Is it
sure.
really?
I think so. Definitely.
I love that one.
Probably one of the
That Elf and Home Alone are like my three staples that like I just have to watch every Christmas season.
Those are
I
three
think.
very different movies.
They are, yeah.
Oh.
It's like the opposite extremes of my personality. You get like the lighthearted
Yes.
humor, and then like the actual like serious like discerning side, and then I don't know something
Yes.
about it.
No, I get that. One of my favorite ways to spend an evening will be to write like a scholarly article. Like I think I have 8 going right now for different journals. So I'll be like writing my scholarly article, but then on the TV I'll be binge watching America's Next Top Model. And yes, I'm admitting that I watched that show, but I fell into it accidentally when I was in high school because I had chemical pneumonia and that was the only thing on TV at the time, and I had no energy to change the channel. So I started watching America's Next Top Model, and now I'm like,
She was hooked.
yes, I'm hooked. I can tell you exactly who wins each cycle and like all the drama that goes on in the house, and that's so not me, but it is a different part of my personality.
So do you make time every day to write? Or do you have a
So
habit?
like scholarly, yeah. My schedule here at MLC, I am so blessed in that like Tuesdays and Thursdays I only teach one course, and it's done by 9. And so then when I come back, I can just hunker in. If I have other things to do for like prep and whatnot, I'll do that. But other than that, it is article time or preparing presentations. And that's like one of my biggest joys of teaching is getting to do that stuff. So I will make time for sure to work on my articles during that time. Creative writing, yeah, that comes and goes. Like I kind of have time for that now a little bit. Not really, I don't. I make time, but I probably shouldn't because I have like that pushes what time I actually go to bed. But creative writing is something I try to get regularly, and academic writing, both. I love it. It's 2 very different styles, but I love them both.
Do you think you have any like future goals of trying to like write like a novel or like a story at all?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Really?
I always have one kind of going on in the back of my mind, or I have ones that I've started, and at the time they're, this is going to be the best thing ever. And then the next day I look at it like, what was I thinking? Like, probably watching too much America's Next Top Model, and that's how that got in there. But I always have something kind of in the back of my mind that I'm hoping to get published, but we'll see. We'll see. That's a goal.
Anything in the works right now, or?
Ooh, like an
Future.
exclusive teaser.
She can't. I don't know if she can do that.
I don't. I have something in the works right now. It's a novel called Lost and Found about a woman who has gone through her whole life feeling lost, and she meets another character who has spent his entire life feeling unseen. And when their lives intersect, and I'm just giving you the log line, like the tagline of the story, but their lives will intersect, and they realize they have to lose something to find what they truly need.
Wow.
So-
Okay,
I would read it.
That sounds so cool.
I'm looking forward to it. I have like my whole process for writing involves note cards spread all over the floor and color coded this and that. So that's currently what's in my library upstairs at home now, and kind of in my office too. It's spread.
Do you ever write poetry?
Not really.
Because that sounds very poetic.
Well, thank you. It's literary fiction, so it's supposed to be in that realm. I don't write poetry. I think I've tried once, and then I got to the end of the poem, like, no, this really isn't my genre. So I will leave that to Robert Frost and the greats. they can take poetry. I'm fine with that.
Now you put like the pressure on yourself though, because now all of
I
our
know.
listeners are gonna want to like read the story once.
I know, but it's not. It's in the early stages of development, so
Oh, yeah.
it's not like it's just a day away from being done. No,
Yeah.
it's been a few years in the making, though. It started off as a different story, and now I'm revising it. So it will be like the novel that just never gets done. We'll be having the same conversation when I'm 50.
The joy is in the process.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll have to do like so we'll obviously release this episode, and then like the week before you release it, we'll have to do like a follow-up episode of Echoes of Sunday. like Echoes of Lost and Found or something.
Oh,
like
boy.
special like teaser episode.
That sounds exciting. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's a cool hobby that I enjoy doing, and it brings me relaxation. And I think you need to have that balance. Can't just be work all the time. So.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting to me how like close your relaxing is to your actual job. Like that's how I know that you picked the right job, if you get enjoyment out of what you're doing.
Yes.
And still like, I don't know, not actually getting paid for it, like behind the scenes. So
well, academic writing is the same thing. It brings me so much joy and relaxation, and you wouldn't think like, wait, writing a research paper, is that relaxing? I mean, not everybody thinks so. I think it's relaxing to me. I enjoy that. And I think you're right. When you find that intersection of what you love and what you do like for a living, that it is a joy for sure.
yeah.
So for people that, like, I enjoy writing. I've learned to love it. I didn't really like it in high school.
Yeah.
But for people that don't maybe appreciate it, what are they missing?
What are they missing?
Because I've heard that, like, and I found this too myself, like, writing it teaches you how to think. Mm-hmm. And it's a way of almost, I don't know if existing is the right word, but like you're discovering also who you are as you write. Mm-hmm. And I just think people miss that.
I think there's also just opportunities to see things in a much deeper setting, like in the current selection that I'm working on. One of the chapters at this point, it is just all description. Now there will be plot in there eventually, 'cause people for some reason need that. But like as it is right now, it is just description, and it's of a place that like really meant a lot to me. And so getting to go back into that part of myself and use like all those sensory details and write about that place with with metaphor and imagery and like such clarity, it really helped me feel reconnected to that place again. And I feel like if I had just written, and there was this place, like that's not very interesting. Sure. But being able, like, you learn so much more just about yourself, but it's a way to express things on a different level.
Yeah.
That's what they're missing.
Yeah.
I am kind of expecting now with the book Lost and Found that it's going to be like a 20,000 like page book with like the first 15,000 words just being like the two main characters' house, like describing like the shingles hanging down or like the icicles.
I hadn't
or something.
even thought about shingles yet.
Shoot,
wow. I have to go back and do a rewrite now. We hadn't even gotten to the exterior. No, I can't.
Oh man.
Oh, but no, that's probably very accurate. It'll be Lord of the Rings length, and nothing will actually happen in it. That's like the mark of a good book for me.
So you said you're working on 8 essays right now, or something like that.
Currently, I think there's like 8 going on in the process.
And are you? I assume you make time to read.
I do. But not as much as I would hope. You'd like to think, like English professors, they would have to. No, I don't read as often as I would like to, but I am in the middle of a book right now that is sorely disappointing me, unfortunately. Wow. And now it's just a matter of pride. Like, I have to finish it, even though I don't want to. I have to finish it because I bought it and I started it, and I have to see it through and have closure.
And do you read novels mostly? Mm-hmm.
Yep, fiction novels all the way. I should have like broadened my horizons, though. I probably should.
Like, do you think nonfiction's just a waste of time?
Well, what is that?
That's such a loaded question.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, I would say it's a waste of time, but I'm not going to, like, pick up a how to fix a car book, like, if I don't have to fix my car. Like, I can't, I won't be, like, moved by it. I think there's some good nonfiction topics I enjoy, but mostly it's just fiction.
Yeah, that's my wheelhouse, too. Yeah. I mean, I think... I honestly cannot tell you the last nonfiction book that I read outside of the Bible. That's about it. Other than that, it's mostly like Lord of the Rings, Narnia, Harry Potter, just all like the classics.
Those are all fiction fantasy series too. That must be your preferred genre.
100%. And like I'm actually, I don't know. I feel like my like reading selection is like it's so basic. Like I'll reread the same stories and like the same like series of books like 30 times. Like,
There's nothing wrong with that.
I feel like I should like challenge myself though more. I feel like I should broaden my horizons, but
there's nothing wrong with having classic standbys. You know, your old favorites.
Yeah. it's just something about reading the Harry Potter series like during the fall, where it's just like, I don't know. It's like a tradition at this point. I just need to do it. So
maybe I'll take your lead on that one, because I typically loathe the fantasy genre, minus Lord of the Rings. That's the one fantasy book I can stomach. But other than that, it just makes me cringe. But maybe I will, if I'm trying to broaden my horizons, maybe I will read Harry Potter. I read the first page once, if that counts, but probably not.
Yeah, I mean, you read one page, you basically read the next 10,000.
I mean, that's what I'm telling myself.
It's good, but it's written for kids. So.
Oh, well. But that's okay if adults still read it. A lot of children's books can be for adults too.
Yeah. I'm the opposite. I used to like, well, I still do like the nonfiction, like theological, because, our professors will recommend books all the time, and most of them are,
theology.
nonfiction books. And just like, even, this is going to sound bad, but like self-help books or like DIY books and stuff like that are just so fun to me. And I've only recently, because I saw like fiction as reading for enjoyment and not almost like a waste of time, because I'm not like getting anything quote unquote useful out of it. Oh, but that's just a horrible way. I know it's a horrible way to look at it. And lately I've been getting better about that. I'm trying to me and my girlfriend are trying to read like some novels together, and that's been a lot of fun. She's forcing me out of my show.
That's so sweet. Like, you both read the same book and then you talk about it?
Yes, yeah.
That sounds so adorable. I love that.
That is kind of adorable.
It is. Oh, so what book are you reading now?
Oh, shoot. I know the title of it. It's called The Tiger and the White Smoke. Okay. And it's by a contemporary of Agatha Christie. Like, it's a mystery.
Okay.
And, shoot. It's like Marjorie Allington or something like that.
It clearly is not making a huge impression.
No, I really enjoy reading the book.
Apologies to Logan's girlfriend.
I just don't know the author. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's a fun book to read, and the character descriptions are like sometimes painstaking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, it's fun to read.
Sounds like she's on board already.
Yes, I will check that one out.
Yeah. I don't know if you'd like the Harry Potter books that much, mostly because of that. I don't think they get into like the very like super descriptive. It's just very like, they're big books, but I feel like the plot moves pretty fast. So
see, and there's plot. Yeah. There's a lot of plot that that just sounds like my hang up there. But you know what? I will have to give it a shot. We'll see. I accidentally watched part of a Harry Potter movie once, and it was not awful.
Accidentally.
So I did. I was sleeping, and I woke up, and there was a scene on some guy with a flat nose was like.
Yep, that's Voldemort.
Yeah.
He's the main bad guy.
I think he was like, there was lasers coming out of his hands or something. And then Harry Potter was like, "Oh no!" And then and then I went back to sleep. But the 5 minutes that I watched apparently were supposed to be like the big climactic part of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was the last movie, and they were in some graveyard. That's all I remember of it.
Mm. That sounds like the Goblet of Fire.
Yeah. Oh.
That's the fourth book. I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Ugh.
My opinion, I like that. That's my favorite book.
That is. I think it's my favorite too.
Sorry, tangent.
Yeah.
Well, the part I watched was not awful, so maybe I'll go back and revisit it.
I mean, that's basically like the 5-minute part that you watch is basically like the summary of the entire series. So, yes. I mean, like if you were going to watch 5 minutes, like that's probably a pretty good 5-minute snippet to watch, I guess.
Good. I saved myself some time. No need to go back and watch those again. I'll stick with the Lord of the Rings movies. They're a little bit better.
Just a little bit, yeah.
A little bit. I like Gollum. He's one of the few redeeming qualities of that movie. I like, because he's a character study in and of itself. He embodies that whole like Romans 7, what I want to do, I do not do. That's Gollum in a nutshell. And so when he has that whole inner like conflict discussion with himself about like, oh, I want to be good, but I'm bad. It's, Gollum. My heart just breaks for him. And that's a character. I'm
never going to be able to read Romans 7 the same way again. Now it's like the Gollum chapter of the New Testament.
I love that, the Gollum chapter of the New. Well, it's so true. It is. That's what defines him as a character. He's not evil Smeagol. He's Smeagol is when he was still good. He's he's complex, and he's Romans 7. So.
Yeah, underrated for sure.
He used to freak me out so badly as a kid.
Oh no!
Like,
Sorry,
not
I
kidding.
brought up old wounds.
No, I moved on now. Now I only like quiver a little bit when I see him, and not like just shriek in agony and terror.
Oh.
No. No, but I think I still remember this prayer I'd say every night. It'd be like, please God, keep me safe from Bigfoot, the creepy guy at 7-Eleven, and Gollum. Those would be the three that I'd say like in a row every single night. Because they freak me out.
I know, the creepy guy. Every town has a creepy guy at 7-Eleven.
It's like a rite of passage, but yeah, no. I outgrew the Gollum fear eventually, and now I think he's probably one of, for sure, my favorite literary characters I think I've ever seen. So
I would agree.
Yeah.
I love that he made it into your bedtime prayer, though. That's so cool.
That's funny.
I was the youngest of 6 kids, so I was basically growing up, I'd watch all the movies that my older siblings wanted to watch. So that probably didn't help. So I was watching like Gladiator and like Lord of the Rings like as a 4 or 5-year-old, which is probably a couple of years before I should be watching those movies.
Yeah, that was me with Shawshank. That's why I don't enjoy that movie now.
Oh,
I
really?
don't remember how old I was when I saw it, but I was far too young to see it.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, this is terrifying, and I don't know what's happening, and I feel like I probably shouldn't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And, so that movie,
fair.
Don't enjoy that one.
I'm sorry.
For that. No, it's okay. My wounds have healed from it.
Do you like, we're going to keep going on a tangent, I guess. Do you like superhero movies?
Never seen any of them, except for the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix. And then Joker 2.
What did you think of that movie?
Which one? Joker 1 or 2?
The first one.
Loved it.
Really?
Absolutely loved it.
Because we watched it with some friends. And
that was one of the most messed up movies I've ever watched.
But messed up in a delightful, fantastic way, right?
Messed up as in I actually had trouble sleeping that night. Like that
But like that was the point of the movie.
Yes, his whole deranged dance is supposed to like be a manifestation of his psyche. Isn't that terrific? No?
I guess I'm in the minority at the table tonight.
Like it wasn't the movie that was supposed to make you like feel good and happy at the end.
But they did end, like, the whole ending where he's on top of the taxi and just thriving in the chaos that he's created. That's, like, the best movie ending. But then they kept going, and they added that scene where he's walking down the insane asylum hallway. I think should have just cut it when he was on top of the taxi. Much more dramatic. And maybe that would have spared you some, like, agony, because that was kind of a creepy ending.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, I think it was a very good movie at accomplishing what it set out to do.
That's
it's just not my cup of tea. Like that's not a movie I feel like I ever need to watch again.
So you didn't see Joker Folie à Deux? Then did you? Okay, you didn't miss anything. Did you see it?
I had not seen it.
I heard it was terrible.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was a musical.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
With Lady Gaga singing intentionally badly.
Okay.
Which was just bizarre to hear her trying to sing bad, like maybe not badly, but like a regular person. That was just no. I needed to hear like Lady Gaga singing in her great Edge of Glory fashion, like after coming home from that movie, because that was just painful.
It kind of makes sense that you like the Joker movie because of the character development. You just
exactly, and then by the end, you realize it was all in his head, and he didn't have this great relationship with the neighbor. Like he became the creepy guy from 7-Eleven. Like that was just that was such a great movie for that character reason.
Yeah, I guess not that this hasn't been an awesome tangent, but maybe to bring it back a little bit.
Yes,
I was just thinking. So I think every professor views their subject as like really important. Like I've never met a professor that says that what I'm teaching you isn't like beneficial.
I'd hope not.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I was just curious because to me, as a student, like a college student, particularly going into like public ministry, I think that the classes that I've taken that have been honestly most applicable to me are the writing courses.
Yeah.
And the English courses. And I was just curious to hear your thoughts on that. And you can be like as unbiased or as biased as you want to be with that if you feel like English and writing is more beneficial to people going into the world than maybe like a more science class, math class maybe.
Well,
or
out of respect for my coworkers, I will not say that English is more important than others. Although, I mean, I committed my life to the humanities English field, so I'd like to think that one has a leg up, perhaps on others. But I will not slam other disciplines.
Yeah.
I feel like writing writing especially is good for the public ministry because in order to write something effectively, you have to know your audience. Like if I was writing a scholarly article, that's very different than when I send a text to my friends. In some cases. Other cases, like those, that's our method of conversation. We like to talk scholarly, discussion topics. But in many cases, a text is different than a paper, which is different than, this, that, or the next thing. So getting to understand your audience is so crucial for the public ministry, and writing does that. It helps you understand who you're speaking to, and also how to be most effective in communicating something. Like, when I'm teaching my rhetoric course, I could bring out case studies of Socrates said this, or I could bring out famous examples from literature, and sometimes I do. But if that was all I did, I would lose half my audience. You have to meet people where they are. And sometimes that involves using examples from Kung Fu Panda and from Cars, even though they might not be my preferred things. They're things that are going to reach your audience. And I think that's so important for just ministry in general. So understanding your audience and communicating, for sure. I feel like that's what makes writing such an informative piece to ministry.
Yeah.
And what is maybe this is going to be a tough one to answer, but what practically do you think goes into understanding your audience? Because for maybe an older pastor trying to reach everyone in his congregation, it'd be tough for him to reach the young people.
Exactly. And part of it is not compromising yourself. Like if I started teaching my class using Gen Z slang, be like, what up, ret comp homies? Like that's the only time I've ever used the word homies in casual conversation and never will again. But if I did that, it might they might enjoy it, maybe not, maybe that was just too cringeworthy. But that's not me, so that would be compromising that. You have to focus on the universal things that we all experience, and pastors do that hopefully all the time. They're trying to find, even in chapels, they'll talk about lots of different examples that we see God's word being applied with the text that they're given. And the same is true with literature courses or with writing courses. You have to focus on those general things that speak to everybody, the human experience things. A lot of people know what it feels like to experience grief or loss or pain or love. And so finding those things that can build those bridges between even large generation gaps. So
I do think that's really interesting, reading the New Testament and even the Old Testament a little bit, especially the New Testament, maybe with Paul, as you see him do that so many times. He gears his message around the audience that he's delivering it to, and
without compromising the truth.
Exactly. And I just think we're called to be all things for all people, and that's a pretty big part of it, because if you're not doing that and you're not making the effort and styling your message around who you're giving it to, it's kind of just throwing the seed on the rocky soil where it's just not an environment that's conducive for much spiritual growth. So,
and that's just a ministry mindset attitude too, that a lot of people need to understand. That is that you might assume your ministry might look one way going in, and then when you get there, it might look totally different. I remember there was one time at West where I had envisioned I'm done with classes, going to go home and do my grading, and that was my vision for the evening. And it turned out a student had a very just life or death, and it literally was life or death personal issue that they needed to talk about, where they were contemplating suicide. And at that moment, your plans for the evening just what grading? Yeah, who cares about grading at this point? You'll take those 2 hours or 3 or 4 and you'll sit with that student. And you'll be what they need at that moment. Even if it wasn't convenient or it wasn't in your schedule, you'll do that and you'll share that comfort with them because that's what God calls you to do. And it's those little unexpected moments that just define your ministry in the years to come.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's powerful.
That's a dramatic example, but it's so true that what you envision your ministry to be might be totally different, and that's all God at work behind the scenes. Yeah. And that's what's so cool about it.
Yeah.
That is really cool, honestly. I think also when something like that happens, you're not going to talk to the person about how sinful they are when they're in that situation either. I think there's just, it's so important to recognize like the use of law and gospel in certain instances, because both are so powerful and so good at accomplishing different things. But yeah, I mean, there's no really like preparing for a conversation like that.
No
amount of schooling is going to get you in a situation where you feel like you're ready to do something like that.
Not at all. And it's about showing that person that you're ministering to, whether you're a teacher or a pastor, you're showing that person you care about them as more than just like a seat in the pew, or you're more than just that persuasive essay, that you last wrote, or you're more than that kid who sits in that desk, that they are a child of God and you love them because Jesus loved them enough to die for them. And that's a powerful just mission mindset, that you milk every opportunity that God has given you in your life to glorify him in whatever opportunities he puts in front of you, whether they're opportunities you expect or not. And that's a powerful thing to experience in your life, for sure.
So in a situation like that, where you still want to understand your audience, that one person, I guess maybe audience is a bad word, but you want to understand where they're at. But maybe you haven't experienced that before.
Yeah.
And so how do you try to understand? Is it just you try to figure out what they need and try to be what they need?
Yeah, and trying to find those pieces of common ground. Like if you're a pastor trying to minister to someone who's dealing with a specific sin, maybe that's not something that you struggle with, but trying to back up a little bit and saying, well, how did that start? Okay, well, maybe it was this idea or this thought, and when have you ever felt like that? In this particular case, it was a teenage girl, and even though I personally have never contemplated suicide, I know what it's like to be a teenage girl. So even just starting at that simple connecting point and saying, okay, so this is what you were feeling. Yeah, that must have been a really powerful feeling for you. Let's talk about that. And not judging them or saying, well, that's not something I would have ever felt. I mean, no one cares what you felt at that moment. Right. You're reflecting the truths of Scripture and the truths of God's love to them in a way that they need. And the beauty of it is that it's not even up to you. You're just the vessel that God is using to bring his comfort to them. And only he's going to know what that looks like at that moment.
Yeah. I imagine too, that's gotta be almost scary, I imagine, when you're having that conversation firsthand and there's no preparation for it. Also, I think looking back on it now, maybe there's some comfort in the sense that, and maybe going forward, if there's ever someone that's in that situation going through that, knowing that, you are there, you're the person that they're talking to for a reason. God's willed that to be the case. So, that's not to put more pressure on you that you got to be perfect in how you approach it.
Sure.
It's just to know that this is God's will. I'm going to try to do this to the best of my abilities and glorify him, and ultimately whatever happens, just knowing that I tried my best to serve my Savior. There's got to be some comfort in that.
The best thing I would advise someone in that is just to remember it's not about you in that moment. You're not expected to say, well, I've also felt that way, and let me tell you the perfect way I dealt with it. You're there to let them talk and let them share what they need to get off their chest, and the opportunities will present themselves to offer comfort. But it's mostly about them just sharing what's on their heart and in their mind at that point. But you're right. It's definitely a terrifying, when you end the conversation saying, just promise me I'll see you tomorrow. That is a terrifying thing then to leave your classroom and go home and think am I going to see them tomorrow? That's one sleepless night that you're just I give this to God and put it in his hands, and only he knows what's going to happen.
It's so hard not to put the pressure on yourself.
Exactly. It's not about you. You're using the gifts that God has given you. And they are, like you said, they approached you for a reason. They must feel some sort of comfort there. So trust that God will give you the words to say.
It's like Darius and Daniel in the lion's den, where it's Darius knew that Daniel was going to go there. He couldn't physically go with him there, but he just had to say I'm going to pray that I see you tomorrow. And then he rushes. He's the first one there the next day, and there he is. It's probably a kind of a similar situation, I'm guessing, in a circumstance like that, too.
That's a powerful example. Yeah, for sure. I can see that.
That's just that's why we do the podcast or stuff like that. I mean, that's just pretty profound. I mean, the whole story. I mean, that's just.
Thank you for sharing that.
That's really.
It's
really
a tough
powerful.
one to like remember and think back on, because at the time you don't know how it's going to turn out for sure. But yeah, just that is a perfect example of just trusting that God knows how it's going to work and that He'll use you in the best way that He knows how.
Would you have done anything differently now, like looking back on that, than what you actually ended up doing? Or not so much?
To be honest, I don't even remember half of the things I said in that conversation. It was a matter of just going into survival mode and like just keep her talking. Keep her talking, keep her thinking about like the comfort of Scripture. I mean, we started with a prayer. I remember that. And I remember she just sharing her story, and then I kind of validated as she went along, like, yep, that's a perfectly acceptable feeling, or, oh yeah, I felt that way too, or, but it was mostly just explaining that if God loved her enough to save her from death, then, like, why would she want to go back to death in a way? That was not said the most profoundly there, but yeah, like, if that's, like, if God loved you enough to bring you back to spiritual life, like, use that life to do something with it. Like, don't throw it away. So I honestly don't know if I would have said something different. I know that I did see her the next day. She did not commit suicide. She saw me with a big bright smile on her face. So God's word worked a miracle in her heart for sure.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Was it really hard to, I mean, obviously it was hard.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you talk about how hard it was to leave the high school setting, especially with like just the relationships that you built with some of the students there and faculty and stuff like that?
It was hard leaving the life in general. I wouldn't even say it was so much just the high school aspect. It was that life in general. I'm a creature of habit, so I need like my routines. Literally in my planner right now is written like eat supper, so that when I'm done eating supper, I can cross it off and feel accomplished.
It's a good feeling, yeah.
I am someone who needs routine and habit. Obviously, flexibility is good too, but it was hard leaving just all of those routines and my friends and leaving all that behind. For the high school specifically, that was tough because you feel like, even when I cleaned out my classroom, that was just a really powerful day because we all cleaned out our classrooms at the end of every year. Like, that was just normal. But then when I cleaned out mine, knowing that my stuff wouldn't go back there again, like, oh, that was hard just to see, like, from the outside. It looked just like an empty classroom, right? Like, nothing special about it. But then my mind would go back to all of the tears or the conversations or the laughter, like all the things that happened in that classroom, like the conversations that just opened people's eyes or the memories that we shared. The all-girl AP Lit class that I had where we watched Pride and Prejudice, and like every single girl was crying when Mr. Darcy professes his love, and I'm like, okay, we have like 5 minutes left in the class period, so we're going to try and move this along. But just all those fun memories, like that was tough to leave all those behind. But at the same time, I knew this was where I was being called to be. So, like, you take those memories with you, you put them in the car during your move, and you bring them with you. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that those often tend to be, like, some of the most surreal moments in life. I think of so many times in my own life already, like, when you close the door to a room that you're leaving for the last time.
Oh,
like,
yes.
the moment just, like, stands still almost. Like, I've had to move a couple times, and like knowing that's hard. I mean,
especially if you were there for a while.
Exactly. Like, for you being there for 11 years, like the amount of memories that you made and the relationships you built, I mean, that's just all wrapped into like a single, closing the door, like just figuratively and literally.
The symbolism, it's so powerful. But no, you're exactly right. And that's like, looking back now, I feel like it is so rare that God gives you an opportunity to see exactly why He did what He wanted to do. Like, it's so rare where you can look back and say, oh, now I get why this happened or why that happened. And getting the call here was 100% that moment. Like, it was so difficult to leave that life behind, but yet I could look back at all these different points in my life and say, okay, now I know why that happened, or I know why I did this or why I didn't do that. And it was leading me here, and that still continues on,
Yeah.
People have said that it was like a dream of yours to be an MLC prof.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's like I said, it had always been a dream to be a teacher, but like even in elementary school, yeah, I knew like this was my dream. But yeah, I mean, the way the call system works, you never know how it's going to work out. So like I got my master's, I got my doctorate, I put 110% into the ministry at West, but you just never know how that's going to work out. And it's unfortunate how I got here with the passing of Professor Zaire, but I was so blessed that they thought of me and thought to like include me on the nomination list. So
now that you've achieved a dream of yours to be MLC prof, what excites you about the future?
Ooh. So over the past couple of years, I've really gotten into the fitness and wellness industry, and I'm actually a certified wellness coach as well.
I've heard you're a black belt too. Is that true?
Yes, that's correct.
Oh my gosh.
I got that my sophomore year of high school.
High school? Oh, okay. Yes. Never mind.
Sophomore year of high school. So, and
That's not even recent.
No, but what is recent is just trying to find that intersection between wellness and called workers. Because I feel like that's something that's not often talked about. Like if you're burned out, a lot of people think, well, don't say that, like because then it looks like you're not feeling the joy of ministry. And there's such a danger in like saying like, no, I'm always happy all the time. Like, no, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm feeling burned out, or I need to balance this. I need to do better with stress management. I need to say no. That took me far too many years to actually say like, no, I can say no to this commitment and it doesn't make me a bad called worker. So I'm really enjoying just getting more into that space and trying to help called workers focus on this idea of wellness. I teach a couple satellite courses in the summer on teacher wellness, so getting to go to the different districts and like help teachers see like where are my strengths? Where can I improve in my mental health, in my physical health, in my nutrition? Like I'm loving that angle right now. So honestly, it's following that rabbit hole and then seeing like what other opportunities God puts in my mind, or puts in my path. Probably a better way of saying it.
Gosh, I would love to go on the nutrition rabbit hole, but another...
and the black belt rabbit. I know, that one's kind of got tossed into, I'm also
That's
a black
so
belt. Cool. People don't expect it. It's,
We understand that with a lot of these professors that we just, inevitably, we need to do a second episode if they're willing. So we can maybe do like, there's so many more topics we can talk about. It's like a never-ending well.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think that that wellness... health aspect of being a teacher is something that isn't really talked about too much. It's more like the practicality, like this is how you're going to do it, and it's how to be a good teacher. But I think for me, I can definitely say that I struggle with those things, and I think that's so cool that you're able to talk to people about that, because that's like, you don't think about that, but it's so important.
You're right.
It's vital almost.
Yeah, people don't think about it, but it's the important thing to remember is that self-care is not selfish. Like you put effort into your mental health and your physical health and emotional health, your occupational health, your spiritual wellness. You put effort into all those things so that you can be the best teacher you can, which ultimately glorifies God. So it's thinking about all those little decisions. Not that like, if I eat one of those great Boston cream pie hand pies from Quick Trip, which I may or may not have one in my fridge, but like, is eating one of those a sin? No, definitely not. But like having good, healthy habits, mind, body, soul, like that's a way that I honor God with my life decision. And I think that's so important. If we're called to honor God with our bodies and be the best called workers that we can be, then why not do it? Yeah, in the curriculum that we teach or in the sermons that we prepare, but also in the way that we just live practically and make like those healthy decisions, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is a question that we want to try and ask every guest.
Okay.
And because it can have a range of answers, and I think it's important for people to see different perspectives of this. But
this isn't like a Jeopardy trivia math. Okay, all right.
No.
I don't have a calculator.
So what does your spiritual wellness look like? Like, what does your devotional or prayer life look like practically?
So right now, currently, I'm in that. If you guys have heard of the book, the 364 Days of Devotion, Devotion?
Yeah,
Devotion, yes, because there's a thankful one too. I'm in the 364 Days of Devotion book. And basically, it's a short devotion, and then you write something that you are thankful for. And so I'm on the creative artsy side. I decided to up my game a little bit, and I got these little cutout leaves from Walmart, and once they arrive, they're supposed to come today. So when they actually arrive, I'm going to be writing down those things I'm thankful for on the tree leaves, and then punching a hole through them, getting some twine, and kind of putting them on a nice little tree branch, and displaying it like a live action gratitude tree, not one of those that's sprawling on your wall, but like an actual tree branch. And I love that devotion. Has been just so cool because they're meaningful devotions that really talk to the time of year that you're in. I'm in the Advent ones right now. I know we're not quite in Advent, but we are.
Very much.
We're in Advent. We're gearing up. So I really have been enjoying that devotion for sure. And just one of the prayers that I pray every day, kind of to start my day, I just remember the acronym GPS, that I pray that everything I do that day glorifies God, so G, that I can feel productive at work and get done, what I need to get done, that's the P. And then S, that I can feel satisfied with everything I've done just at the end of the day. Have I done everything that I possibly could have done to God's glory? And that's kind of that's the prayer that leads my day. And that helps me from not just sitting on my phone when I get home and, texting or scrolling. Nope, that's not going to make me feel satisfied at the end of the day. I'll do something more productive or something that, helps someone else.
That's so cool. I think that it's grown on me a lot. That particular element of prayer, I guess, prayer is it's so versatile. It takes on so many different forms. And for me, I'll say a same prayer every single day for me, as I start my day. And I never started doing that until this year. And it's so beneficial because you're able to gear that around things that will help you the most.
Yes.
So it's I've talked with other professors about that too, and I'll hear their take on it. And knowing you, I feel that GPS is it's perfect for you in so many ways. It seems it's just. It's not hard for me at all to understand or believe how much of a benefit that could be to you.
Well, and it shapes what you do for that day too. And it's nice when days don't go as planned. On days when I have a roadmap of I'm going to do this, this, and this, and then 5 meetings come up that I wasn't expecting, or I have to kind of put out this fire or do that instead. It helps me realize I can still be a good called worker who honors God with my life, even if things did not go according to plan. It's how you roll with the punches, or how you deal with things that come up and not stressing out about them, or having that anxiety, so to speak.
Yeah.
Do you think gratitude is the most powerful positive emotion? Because I've heard some people say that.
That's such a loaded question. There's so many positive. You're right that I've heard people say that. And Dr. Kelly McGonigal is kind of the wellness psychology expert, one of them in gratitude. She would say yes. I think it's one of them. No, okay. I definitely think it's one of them. I've heard that when you focus on gratitude, you focus on the things you have versus the things you don't, which seems self-explanatory, kind of a gimme statement, but that is so true, that you focus on what you have and why it's such a blessing to you, and you don't focus on what you wish you had or what you wish was different. So it's one of the most positive emotions.
So what do you do in a moment where you are focusing on the things you have, but maybe you don't feel super grateful, or you just still feel whatever? Or does that not happen?
No, I would say I try to go back to okay, if things might not look the way I want to in this area, but what is something positive I can find in that area, or just avoiding it altogether and saying, okay, that might not have worked out the way I wanted, but what are these other 5 good things that happened today? And that doesn't mean that God has forgotten that other challenge or that struggle, or that his that's not a priority right now. We'll get to that later. It's he's just doing things in his own time, and that's best. I don't need to understand the plan. I just need to trust the one who has it. and who created the plan.
Amen.
And that's hard for me as a planner because I love, like I said, I like to plan everything. But in that case, I trust that God has the plan. It's worked out so far, and it works out. It will work out to his benefit every time.
I think that's kind of like faith in a nutshell, I guess. I mean, most things that you have faith in are things that you can't necessarily see, especially when it comes to God. So
exactly. Or you think like, that could, I wish it was this way, or a struggle or a challenge comes up, and it's very easy to feel like just overwhelmed or bogged down by it. But remembering, no, this is all part of God's plan. It might hurt and, crush you at the time, but God's got it.
Yeah. I think with gratitude too, like there's got to be like some just element of like completion with that too, because when you're grateful for what you have, you're not longing to have more stuff. Like you're just you're content and like you feel fulfilled with what you have. And I feel like if you're not focused on like all the incredible blessings that you already have, and you're focused on what you don't have, like if you're focused on an individual thing that you don't have, you might eventually get that one thing that you don't have. And then that might make you happy for a day, and then there's just going to be another thing. So it's just a never-ending struggle of sinful flesh and humanity and greed. I mean,
it's a lie.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Focusing on the blessings that God gives instead of the ones you wish you had, because there's obviously a reason you don't have them. And maybe you'll never know what that is, but God does, and that's good enough.
Yeah. I think the last question that we usually ask people, and kind of the wrap-up question, is there something that you feel like God has been teaching you lately or right now? And that can be spiritual, that can be physical, emotional, just like anything. It's a very open-ended question.
I feel like the biggest thing, it kind of relates to what we were just talking about, but just trust in general is probably the biggest thing. The holidays are especially kind of difficult for me after moving from the cities, because I have so many fun traditions that I used to do with my friends. And I have so many like routines and things there that like happened for years, and they were just so powerful, and they're things I came to enjoy and love. And so like now, even hearing a specific song or seeing something, just like it's kind of bittersweet sometimes. But recognizing, that just because that's not something I can do now, it doesn't mean that like that still didn't happen and that wasn't great. And I'm gonna trust that God is moving me forward in a good direction. So trust is probably the biggest thing now, and just realizing that things are different in a good way because I love being here. They're in a good way, and also just in different unexpected ways, and just what that looks like on a daily basis that God will provide. I might not be able to do XYZ, but this other door is opening that maybe like I didn't expect. So
I think the thing with trust too is it's never like it's something that you're just done. Exactly. It's a constant growth.
Like I'm done trust. Okay, I think I mastered trust. Now what's next?
I can put that away in the box. Not have to worry about it.
Yep.
The other part of that too is it's like you can trust in God, but that doesn't necessarily make it easy. Like
Correct.
That's still like it's this life is hard, and like there's things that you're going through where it's like, God's got a plan, but it doesn't always feel like it's for my good, because right now it kind of sucks, So trusting, I think that could be the answer that people say every single time for that question, honestly. It would probably be close to the answer I'd give too, I imagine. So
you never know what new challenges are coming up and coming your way, and being okay with that. And especially if you are type A like me, who likes to have everything planned in advance, not like being okay with not having everything planned. I feel like that's an ongoing life lesson, is like I don't need to know what all is coming down the pike, because God has proven himself time and time again that even the bad stuff he can use for good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I also feel like as humans, it's probably a good thing if we don't know everything that's coming down the pike. That might not be good. Like,
that's probably true.
I got stage 4 cancer coming down the pike. Gotta look forward to that, or maybe that's too far.
No, I feel like if we were given the option to see into the future, I don't know if I like.
Exactly.
Part of me would say yes, I want to know the answer to like this question or that question, but I don't know that, because then where does it end? You just want to keep following that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Just forces you to trust God.
It does. Amen.
Yeah.
You gotta trust. You got no other options.
And that's the best option there is, even if it doesn't feel like it at the time.
Exactly.
It's still the best one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if there's a much better way that we could have wrapped the episode. That seems like a pretty fitting
Seems like a good ending point.
I agree.
Professor Decker, I want to thank you for being willing to come on the podcast and share with us all this, oh my gosh, awesome stuff.
This is really,
we went down
really
a
cool.
lot of places, but man.
Yeah.
No, thank you for inviting me. This was a lot of fun. We went down many interesting rabbit holes. I'm all for that.
Yeah, it was interesting when we talked about starting this over the summer. Like this was what we had envisioned. Like just this moment, where you're just talking about God's word and faith life and growing in faith, whatever it might be. And I'm just I'm filled with so much joy right now. So yeah, just thank you.
That's awesome.
So much, Professor.
No,
we
this
really
is
do
great.
appreciate it.
I love getting to chat with you guys too on a outside of the classroom. This is real life type of thing. Not that literature isn't important, but this is real talk. I love that.
Professors are people too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Put that on the shirt.
Yeah, I was just thinking that's a T-shirt waiting to be made.
But seriously, thank you so much, Professor.
Yeah.
Thank you to our listeners for the support. I really hope that this was a blessing to you. I know it was a blessing for both Logan and I. I pray it was for you as well,
Most
Professor.
Definitely.
But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up, guys. And Lord's blessings on the rest of your week, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.